Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this CEG tutorial on how to make a signature. My name is Crosseyed Arty. I'm one of the staff members at CrosseyedGamer.com. Right now, I'm gonna teach you how to use some of the basics of using Adobe Photoshop CS3. Basically, this will be your display window, and you know, here are the toolbars all the way on the right side. You can customize them, like you can click and drag where you want to put them or something. You can expand your docks a little bit. You can move your toolbar if you want to move it to the left side. You could. You can just view some. You can collapse the toolbars if you want. If you don't want those, but I tend to leave this toolbar open, and also leave the Photoshop toolbar open as well. So, okay, so right now we're just gonna go over some of the buttons here. Right here is the Marquee tool. This is used for basically just highlight certain sections of an image that you want, or a piece of object in an image. You can highlight and select to make copies and edits. Here we have the Move tool. The Move tool is basically, again, the pointer. The Lasso tool is basically used for like cutting and dragging like certain things in an image, and basically selecting like each little point. You connect the dots kind of thing. The Magic Wand tool is used for, deleting certain sections of a background off, and, keeping important layers like staying there, and you can like erase backgrounds and whatnot. Here's the Crop tool. This is, you can crop an image down in size if you want to. Ooh, hello. What do we got here? No, I want to exit that out. I'm sorry about that. Here we got the pen tool, the slice tool, excuse me. The slice tool, again, that's just cutting up images. This is the healing brush. Healing brush tool, that is for in case you made a mistake or something, you can heal something up. The brush tool is used for, again, painting stuff. Stamp tools, creating stamps. History brush tool. Again, creating different. If you select different brushes, you can go back and select another brush. Background eraser tool. I use this a lot to like, you know, cut an image down or whatnot. Gradient tool. These are used for like if you want specific gradient backgrounds. I mean, it has a couple options up here. If you click on it, there's some different gradients you can put into your image. This is the smudge tool. They also have, if you click and hold, they actually have more tools like the blur tool, sharpen tool, smudge tool. Right here is the dodge tool. I like to use this sometimes, but I don't use it often. You can burn, you can sponge images. Pretty cool. It's the pen tool. The pen tool, I use it sometimes, but not as much. Text tool, use it a lot, most of the time. Path selection tool, you can create custom shapes like rectangles, circles, polygons, line tools, all that stuff. What's cool about the custom shape tool is that you can, customize a certain shape, such as like some of these. Like I tend to use copyrights, registered, trademarks, same thing, just using those images I use a lot. Let's see, here's some, I don't usually use that much, but this is the eyedropper tool, just in case you want to select a color and then just highlight and select. And again, foreground, background colors you can switch. Alright, so that should be the toolbars, and here is another important thing you need to know is the layers tab. Once I start a project, I'll show you like how many layers will come here, and then there's some like special effects down here you can use. So let's begin a project here. We'll go File, New. Now, usually I create signatures for Crosseyed Gamer. It's usually 500 by 200. That's the maximum settings you can have. 500 pixels width and 200 pixels height, and resolution 72 pixels per inch. I usually use that. Usually I don't name it the first time around, but I'll name it something else. Like I said, CEG SIG, for example. Um, and a color mode, RGB color, 8-bit. Background contents is transparent. So this is all you need to know. All you do is press OK and just wait for the settings to load. There we go. So this is the 500 200 pixel image, transparent background. Um, so what's the first thing that I really want to put as far as like signatures? Well, first of all, sometimes I add a layer to my images just to give a like, if I want to add text or something later on, I can always have a background just for a placeholder. So we're going to click, what I just did is this little circle button down here. You click on that, it'll give you like a bunch of layers, like, and a bunch of effects you can use in your image. Now you can, the top three are the most important ones, like you can make a solid color background, a gradient background, or a pattern background. So I want to choose solid color, and usually I always put my images to black. Usually it's just so I can like, if I gotta use like overlays or screens, which I'll explain later, basically they will use like it'll basically just blend the image. Some of the images will blend in easier when creating like SIGs. So first things first, I want a background for my image. I'll just find a background, so I go to File, Place. You can usually just check on images on Google and choose whatever image you want. I'll just go to my CEG folder. And this is where all my images are. I know I have some backgrounds in here that I can probably use. Let's see, I think there is one thing. Oh, here we go. Space art. I love space art. I think it's pretty cool. People draw some of this stuff. It's pretty amazing. I mean, look at that. That's a cool image. That's all art right there. It's all, drawn, painted. Just completely excellent. Alright, so we'll expand it a little bit so we can get at least some like color, like, some clouds, some stars, and I want to put the moon right there too. So we'll click check mark up here, and basically there's my image. Now since I have my layer, I kind of want to add some text to my image, maybe, or maybe put something like, I don't know, a random object or something. Now, down here is the layers. What I talked about before was the layers tab. The layers tab will show like different layers of basically what you just put in. Like, this is the color filled background. If I uncheck the view, it's still there, but when I check the eye again, it's still there. Basically, there's two layers here. Also, another great way to use layers is that you can right click a layer, and then where it says blending options, you can click that, and this is where you can add like effects, like you can probably fit like an inner shadow if you want, an inner glow, a bevel emboss, color overlay if you want to, or gradient overlay. Depends on your preference of what you want, but we're not going to use any blending options for this one for now. But you can also duplicate layers if you want. If you want to make two layers like appear on a different, if you want like different stars, like you want to put stars over here, you can duplicate a layer and then just click and drag over and just make some more stars. But so far we're just gonna learn the basics of just learning how to deal with the properties of Adobe Photoshop here. So so what if I want to like create like a specific overlay for an image? Okay, so I'll go show you an example of that. Like, what are overlays and screens? Overlays and screens are basically just you take an image, you place it into on an image. Now you set to an overlay. That means it just overlays the image like it makes it like really visible to the image, like it compares to the image, like it basically just shows up pretty nicely, like it blends in with the image. There we go. It just blends in with it. Screen is the same thing, but it keeps the depth of the image. So for example, I'll put the canine image in here. I love Doctor Who, so I mean it's a great show. Um, so let's play canine here. So if I want to put like canine like on the top right here, I could. I'll put a check mark here. Now, if you want to change to an overlay or screen, basically make sure your layer is selected wherever it is blue. What it there's like a box on the top left where it says normal. There's an arrow. You click on that and basically set it to overlay, which is right down here. If you click overlay, see how it blends in with the image? So that's how it kind of blends in like that. So it's pretty cool. I mean, so usually I don't like that because it doesn't show up well if you put it into a dark area. But if you put it to a light area, such as like maybe down here, you can see the canine well. But if it's like in a dark little area, it's not really going to work too well. So um, I'm gonna see if I can select the. Let's see what second. There we go. Select the image again. Select the layer. Go up to the layers, the control box in here, and we can get screen. I'd prefer to use screen because it shows up in the image very well, and it doesn't really blend in too much. Now, there's a great tool I like to use. It is called the smudge tool. Usually, I smudge some of the edges off a little bit just to basically make sure it like blends in with the image. So what I do is I smudge the edges out, make sure it just like has like a little cloud effect, make sure it blends in like this. So just take the little smudge tool and try to get all the edges out and try to make it like into a cloud formation kind of thing. That's what I tend to do most of the time. So let's blend it out a little bit. Like smudge it like that. Smudge like that. And smudge it like that. There we go. So that's how you create the smudge tool. All your edges are gone, and it basically looks like it's blended in with the image. Kind of cool, huh? Um, so that's how you do overlays and screens. You can also do like the opacity tool here. If your layer is selected, you can select this arrow, and you can just slide the image to see what opacity is good for, the image. Like, see how let's see how low it can go. Okay, so cannot bear to see it when it's on low opacity, but if it's on higher opacity, I can probably see it better. Let's see, let's tone it down just about 75%. That should be good enough. So you can use opacity tools such as like the space art. You can change the opacity all the way down and just have the dog appear. But I'm just gonna keep the opacity at 100%. I never touch the backgrounds at all. So alright. So screens, overlays. Now let's see how we can. I'll show you how to duplicate. Excuse me. I'll show you how to duplicate a layer. So we'll go. Let's just put like put a random image in here. To duplicate a layer, you just make sure you check off the box and just, I don't know, click and drag it somewhere about right here. Now select the layer, right click, and duplicate layer, and you can name it anything you want, but I don't change it, so I just press OK and watch what happens. Boink. Duplicate a layer. Simple as that. Now you can make it 3D if you want. I can probably draw some lines and whatnot. Just make it funky. But if you don't want that second layer like to be here, you can just see this where this eye tool is. Deselect it. Bam. Simple as that. Click and drag the other layer and wherever you want. I could probably want to put an overlay on this one, so let's put an overlay on it. Let's see, overlay. Yeah, it doesn't really appear that well. Let's try and see if we can appear it just a little bit, and we can probably smudge it out. Smudge it out just a little bit, so it appears with an image. Oh, no, yeah, that's right. Make sure you select your layer when you're selecting when you're like trying to smudge an image. Make sure your layer is selected when you're gonna smudge. All right, so smudge it out a little bit. Make sure it doesn't appear any weirdness. Alright, smudge it out. There we go. So it's basically smudged out. So next, we're going to learn the text tool. The text tool is used a lot. I mean, especially if you're going to make SIGs and you want your own text in, and basically just highlight certain areas. I don't know, just like brand your images or something. A text tool is like pretty cool to use. Alright, so we're going to click somewhere in this image, and I'm going to put Arty as my name because that's my name on the site. Now just click. I'm going to put the text probably somewhere on the moon somewhere. I don't know. Just make it look cool. Click and drag the image up a little bit. There we go. Click check. What's pretty cool, you can overlay and screen that text. Now let's see. Let's see if it looks like an overlay. Now, as you can see, it doesn't work that well because again, you can't see it too well because it's behind a shadow. But if you put it to screen, it looks fine. But you can actually take the opacity tool and then shrink it down just a little bit, so you can see the text a little bit well. Alright, so it looks fine and dandy, but what if I want to add special effects to that text? Well, very simple. All you have to do is right click the text and then go to blending options. And when you go to blending options, you can mess it with it. You can have like an outer glow to it. If I select it, it kind of glows just a little bit. You can have an inner shadow. That kind of looks cool, actually, by the way. That's pretty cool. You can also add a drop shadow to it, so we can have like a special effect, but usually don't add drop shadows because usually that's for like light stuff or sunlight. If you want to have text to have a drop shadow effect, you could. Inner shadows, you can have, but let's uncheck this for now. A bevel emboss, so you can have like a little 3D look to it. You can have like a satin color. You can have color overlays, gradient overlays, let's see, patterns, and maybe like a stroked effect. But let's put a bevel emboss on it, and let's put an outer glow on it. Now the glow, I want it about, let's see here, let's make it that size, make it about that, make the opacity above. Let's see, we can have a bevel emboss, we can have it down so it appears on the moon, and we can like adjust the size a little bit, make a softer touch, change the depth a little bit. Yeah, I'm just like messing around with it, but just messing around with the effects, but I don't really need to add any effects to it. But that's if you want to add any effects to your image. Like if you want to make a 3D image to this, you could. Right click, blending options, you can do bevel emboss. But be careful because if you see the bevel emboss, it actually highlights your certain area, your image kind of pops up, so don't do that. So just keep it nice and smooth if you can. So last but not least, basically I'm going to teach you how to add a C4D image onto an image. Now C4Ds are usually common for like creating like a special effect for an image, or using like make the flow, make the image kind of cool in a way. So let's try a C4D image out, such as this one. This is actually just a C4D image, kind of like a 3D image if you prefer to say. Now I tend to use these a lot, once in a while. Just crease it down a little bit. If you want to like have like a little galactic galaxy, you could. You can decrease it a little bit. Maybe have it like right in the middle right there, and change it to like an overlay maybe, or maybe like a screen. Screen looks good. Have it like a little have a little snow effect on the bottom. You could. You could. Yeah, I think that would look great right about there. That'll look great. Now let's see if it's all just, this is pretty cool. I like to use the overlays and screens a lot because it makes your images look twice as sick. Um, so this is the basics of Adobe Photoshop. If you have any questions or concerns about any of this I just covered, you can contact me on crosseyedgamer.com. It's Crosseyed Arty. That's my username. Just send me a private message about like how to create a SIG. If you're not sure of what type of software is recommended, like I said, just ask questions to me, send a private message, post on my profile, and just post away. And thanks for watching.